following views are those of the host and not those of Clear Channel Broadcasting licenses.
Have you gone to the doctor recently because of pain throughout your body for which there seems to be no relief? Introducing Dr. Anthony Panozzo. The Dr. Panozzo Sports and Medicine Hour will bring you a new technique to resolve painful issues throughout the body. Dr. Panozzo has worked with over 65,000 patients over 40 years and has developed a revolutionary approach to pain treatment. His treatment allows fast and effective treatment of pain without narcotics, surgery, and physical therapy. There is no manipulation or alternative approaches. Weight bearing and the return of normal range of motion without pain is the best kept secret this man has to deliver. So, get ready to call in and ask all of your painful questions and get the answers you've been looking for. Now, here's today's edition of Dr. Panozzo's Sports and Medicine Hour.
Good morning, everybody. I hope everyone's having a great Sunday. Let me say hello to my producer who makes this show possible. How you doing, Freddie?
Good, Les. How are you?
And he's got a lot of other people here. Linda and Mr. D is sitting right there on the board. And we have the famous Dr. Anthony Panozzo. Doc, how was your week?
Very nice.
We're going to do a lot of different things today, folks. First of all,
we got to correct the announcer.
Oh, okay.
What did the announcer say?
Well, he said 65,000.
Oh, no, we're way over that.
Way over 70-some, 72,000.
72,000. We got to keep
That's an old piece, Doc.
That's an old piece.
That's an old piece.
we got to change.
Well, we got new listeners.
Well, yeah, we have about 215,000 listeners right now, so we're kind of happy.
And the approach we use is the scientific approach based on the anatomy and physics of weight bearing. It is not, something that I created out of whole cloth. I mean, it's based on.
Did you make this up, Doc?
The anatomy.
Did you make all this stuff up?
No, I didn't. I discovered it. Let's say.
Well, it's always fun. How did you discover this thing? I mean, it's amazing.
Well, it's a thinking process. So
right.
If you're involved with with what I'm involved with, which is production of pain,
mm-hmm.
Pain is a symptom. So you have to figure out where it's from.
Right.
There are only so many parts in the body. So if you can isolate it to one part, then you can treat that part.
Okay.
And that's essentially it. Like, for instance, pain was described as an electrical phenomenon. With an EMG,
mm-hmm.
you could actually test it.
Right.
So a nerve takes the painful structure and transmits the impulse to the brain where you feel it.
Wow.
And then the brain tells the muscle to contract, to stop motion, so that you don't hurt yourself.
Very interesting.
Okay. So some people call that spasm, but the idea is wrong. It's not. It's a guarding. So the structure then is probably ligament.
Okay.
So now you got to figure out what a pain is. A pain is inability to stretch, because that's what a ligament does. It holds it tight. Now, why would it do that? Injury.
Okay.
So all pain is based on injury. All of it.
Like scoliosis.
Scoliosis is an injury. Any kind of pain you have is an injury. You're not born with a pain.
Right.
You have to acquire it. And in order to acquire it, you have to have a structure that is actually injured. And we can find out what that is and then treat it. So that's the value of the approach we use. It's based on the anatomy and physics of weight bearing and all these other things that you happen to learn when you're in residency.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of people who are dealing with pain don't have residencies. They don't have patients they treat.
Right.
I mean, you got to be careful of that. There's some terminology we could talk about, like
sciatica. I mean,
sciatica,
everyone complains about sciatica. That's a term.
That's a good one.
Huh?
That came up in a lot of the surveys.
Yeah, I know we have a lot of people.
But before he goes on there, I have a question for you.
Okay.
When you say ligament damage and cartilage damage are two different things, correct?
Cartilage is cartilage, ligament is ligament.
Right. Can they regrow cartilage?
Yes.
Because they're doing that in Germany right now.
It doesn't regrow. What it does is imbibe. That's a nice
Imbibe,
term.
okay.
Imbibe. So it takes in fluid and expands. But you're not going to have cartilage. Like people tell you, your cartilage is gone. Where did it go? It's not in an artery somewhere. It just doesn't happen that way. It's just squeezed. It's like your nose or ear. You can squeeze it, and it'll come back. So that's what that is.
Well, the Knicks wanted to sign a basketball player, which I can't say his name, and he's headed to Germany. And they're going to regrow his cartilage the way
Who?
they a basketball player.
Basketball player
NBA.
for a knee?
Huh?
For a knee?
No, for the bottom of his foot.
Bottom of his foot?
Yes, it doesn't
No,
seem...
he's got this. No, don't do that.
2 years he hasn't played, Doc, and he's
There is
a great
nothing
player.
to that. I happen to know where that pain is.
Okay.
And we treat that in 1 day. There is no reason
Wow.
for him to go anywhere. And as a matter of fact, the whole concept of growing this, growing that, and what else do they use? White cells. They put white cells in your
Yes,
ankle.
that's part
Right,
of
The
it.
whole thing is garbage. There is no science there. Why do you want to replace a ligament? All you have to do is treat it. You know, the whole thing is just bizarre. There's a lot of people making a lot of money on this, and I'm sorry to
In
say
Germany.
it's professors. They got to stop that. They got to be honest when they talk. I mean, they're not really honest. They don't really treat this stuff. You know, it's all out of the book. They're trying to write a book. They're trying to discover something. There is nothing to discover. When you have a sprain of a ligament in your ankle, you can treat that. You can change the weight bearing. You can inject it. You can do this with it. You don't have to go to Germany and
Regrow the cartilage.
regrow the cartilage. There's no cartilage there. I mean, the whole thing is stupid. Whoever that is, you make a wrong decision, just like Tiger Woods. Bad decision.
Is that like? Well, you saw what happened to him after the third round. He was like,
done.
I think he's +3, and Rory McIlroy, because you could see he had like a swing coach that tried to
His
compensate.
this is his 4th swing coach.
Yeah.
And all the others are saying he's bad.
Yeah,
This is
still
what
bad.
we've said for a long time. You don't change the swing. You take care of the pain that's causing the swing to change. These swing coaches are dishonest. They don't know what they're talking about. You got to know the anatomy and physiology. How do you know what the swing is made of? You don't know. They don't know that. And I watch them teaching. They taught me, and I'm saying, you guys are nothing but flakes. You don't even understand what makes the physiology of the golf swing.
Mm-hmm.
How does that club head get from here to here? You don't know that. They don't know that. There's a lot of things to know, and they don't know any of it. And that's why they got to stop that. I wish the PGA International or whatever they're,
Well,
governing,
Frey and I are going to be
governing
going up
body,
to those people.
I want them to have an anatomy and physiology course before they can certify these people. I mean, they're not being honest with the public. They're not being honest because they're ignorant. And I'm trying to make them not ignorant.
But
We're
they're
tr-
trying to teach them to play with the pain.
Yes.
How to overcome the pain
No,
and
that's the wrong
compensate.
thing to do. Why should anybody play with the pain? You got to be crazy.
Well, you don't establish the plane to play. You swing less, and your short game has to be better.
The short game has nothing to do with this.
No, I understand.
Only the
Drive.
only the at the driving. You cannot make anybody play with the pain. You cannot. They're going to change their swing because the body will protect itself. That's what a limp is.
Exactly.
You watch people limping, you say, why are you limping? They don't know, but they're protecting the painful spot. That's why they don't bear weight on that. So the same thing with with swinging the golf club. You're not going to hurt yourself when you swing that golf club. If your shoulder hurts doing this, you're not going to do that.
Right.
Let me ask you a question,
No.
Don. A basketball player that goes through rehab and continues to have the same pain, the same injury, re-injure.
I don't know what you mean by rehab. What does that mean?
No, he goes to rehab. He gets a
What
knee
does that
fix. He gets a knee fix.
Oh.
And then he goes to rehabilitation. And then the injury occurs again and again and again, or he's playing in pain. They really haven't fixed the problem.
They haven't fixed it. They haven't found out why the problem was there in the first place. So you have to know the physics of weight bearing. What does the knee do? What does the hip do? What does the low back do? All of it's connected. And you have to be able to examine for each and every part. And then you treat each and every part. And if you have to change the weight bearing, you do it. Whatever needs to be treated, you have to treat that to a normal range of motion without pain. And then you don't even need the surgery. Period. The rehab, so-called physical therapy, baloney. They don't know what to do with that. It takes a medical doctor to treat that. That's why there's so many failures. That's why this guy has been on a bench for 2 years. I mean, he must be making a hell of a living just sitting there getting
Well,
paid.
he's making a lot of money. He was
Yeah.
one of the best.
But where is the surgeon? Where is the doctor in charge referring him to get treated?
Well, what happened was
why
he
is
had the
this guy
surgery.
not wanting to get treated? You know, why is he putting up with that? For
Well, he
2
had
years?
the surgery and it reoccurred. He only
course.
played
Oh.
3 games.
Well, then the surgery is probably not correct.
And now he's going to go to Germany.
Now you gotta get it
they're
again,
going to
yeah.
redo his foot.
What is that, stem cell? They're putting stem cells in
Yeah,
there? Is
stem
that-
cells,
Yeah, that's
something
that's
like
a new thing. I get stem cells.
But the whole thing is a really, there is no, I don't think that, well, first of all, if you know what causes pain, you know that's a scam.
Well, yeah, that's a difference.
If you know what structure causes the pain and why, then you know you don't want to do that. It's not guaranteed. My work is guaranteed. You can't leave the office without having that pain
I mean,
gone.
I think that's something that's
and you're going to
really
go to
important.
Germany for what?
And they don't guarantee
They're
it.
not going to guarantee anything.
How many doctors out there? How many doctors out there, honestly, rehab guys or orthopedic guys, can actually say they guarantee their work?
Mm-hmm.
They can't because most people that have that surgery are in
They
pain.
do the opposite. They don't guarantee.
No,
they
of
say
course
it,
not.
could,
Yeah.
it could work or it could not work.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, when people have to pay for the treatment out of their pocket because they're not covered, I still guarantee that work.
Yeah.
I mean, if it takes me 2 or 3 days, I'm going to do it for that price. And that's the best thing for people without insurance, by the way, or
Yeah.
high deductibles.
But some of the biggest names in the NBA have seen this doctor in Germany. Some of the biggest. When I tell you the biggest, Kobe Bryant.
They are being referred by the surgeons here
Yes.
to get rid of these players, to see if they can do better somewhere else. But they ought to look within their own neighborhood. The answer is right here. They don't have to send people to Germany. And there's a game that are played sometime. Well, if I can't treat it, it must be too serious, so I'll send you to the expert.
Let somebody else take the heat.
Let somebody else say, it wasn't me. I'm just ignorant. The other guy's the expert. Let him do it. I mean, these are games that the elite play,
I hear you.
and it's not good.
Well, I think the problem is that people never find out where the pain comes from, and I think that's the one thing
Well,
that
that's-
you do
that's
is
precisely
finding out
the-
where is that pain coming from.
Not only where, but why. See, the why. People don't get this. I want you to listen close.
Go ahead.
You can put your finger on the where, and that's a big feat right then. But then you have to figure out why it's there and not the other side. So you have to always ask that question. Why is the inside of my knee hurting me but not the outside? It's the same knee,
Yeah, right.
but only one part of it hurts. Maybe 10% of it. They're replacing the whole thing for 10% of abnormality,
Yeah,
which
that's
is
true.
easily treated. So that's what you have to think. So you say, well, my back hurts when I bend, but only on the left. Why is that? Not the right. You have to ask this question. This is how I do my software.
Terminology.
Software in my head.
Right.
So every question, every answer, every motion makes a pattern so that at the end of it, put my finger right on it.
So we by not only finding the cause of the pain, but finding out what the source
Well,
of the pain was.
this-
How the pain get there? That's important.
That's why we have that special film that's patented that I have.
That you invented.
And no one
actually.
else does it. I don't know why anybody would go anywhere else. This is it.
No, I mean, I tell everybody that I meet. I said, you know what? You go and you buy a car. You must go to 5 car dealerships to see who's the best.
Yeah.
But when it comes to your body, you believe people without going for a second opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it.
Yeah.
So it's ridiculous. It's your body. A car that lasts 6 years, you're done.
When people want to, doctors want to lower your care to a non-physician, you got to be worried.
Right.
What right do they have to drop your level of care? They
Oh,
have
I
no
agree.
right to do that. You're giving that doctor a right to do that to you. I'm a doctor myself. I'm talking about as an expert. If you have a general practitioner who says go to physical therapy, he has dropped your level of care because he doesn't care about you. What if the therapists know that he doesn't know? They're
That's
not
true.
trained in diagnosis.
No, that's true.
We trained those. My specialty. We had a big school of physical therapy at Ohio State when I trained there, and they were not given the same level of training as the physicians.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you do that to somebody?
I wish I had the answer.
There is no good answer
I
to
know.
it. It's unethical, immoral to drop somebody's level of care. You should always increase the level of care. Never drop it down to less than what you know.
Well, you had a problem with that.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, but
That
when you
makes
have,
sense
when
to
you have
me.
a doctor and he's finished with you, there's no more money. He's got to send you to the next guy. I mean, honestly.
Well, it's never the money. It's always, I don't have anything for you, so go there.
Well, John, I can't charge you if I can't help you.
Well, that's the therapist. You can't get anybody off the therapist because they'll treat you forever.
Yeah.
As long as you show up, they will treat you.
I'm going to
And if you
therapy
say
school.
You have, yeah.
I'm going to go to therapy school. I'll never be out of work.
No, I will make. Well, I'm going to his school.
As long as you have general practitioners referring to them, a carte blanche, and it's carte blanche. It's like evaluate and treat. Now, that's why you treat a doctor. You don't treat a technician like that.
And they don't make the pain all go away. They leave you with some pain.
Oh yeah.
They got to leave you with a little bit of pain.
They can't take it away. They don't know how to do it.
The source.
The source.
Pain comes. If no one has learned anything from this show, learn one thing. Source of pain. That's what he does. He finds the source of pain. And I got my producer right here knows what that's like.
I got all the gadgets in the world too, Doc.
What came to my mind is that the therapists now are needling. They're using a needle into muscles.
Ooh.
Muscles are never the problem. See, that's the wrong structure. This is what I'm talking about. Diagnosis and treatment. You can't diagnose. If you can't diagnose, you can't treat. Well, I got a couple of things here. Did you want to talk about the gadgets?
I
have gadgets.
You got gadgets here about your gadget. We call them gimmicks, not gadgets.
Gimmicks.
Okay, gimmicks. Go ahead.
There is a gadget or gimmick,
Gimmick.
that you put it in the freezer and it freezes.
Right.
You put it on your knee. And then when you finish, you put it in the oven or the toaster oven.
Oh, I saw
heats
that.
up and you put it on your knee. It's the same bag.
Same thing.
And it works wonders, Doc. It burns you and
it
freezes you.
So you get burning and freezer burn.
I feel like a piece of meat.
I could beat that one, Freddie. I got a gimmick that's called the teeter chair, where you stand with your
Upside
head.
down?
Huh? It's out now. We talked about it today on the way
The
up
table,
here.
the
Teeter table.
Yeah, whatever it is.
What does it do? Turn you upside down?
Yeah.
And the blood gushes to your head.
Yeah, it's supposed to stretch your lower back, but and it's supposed to give your disc nutrients.
Yes.
The disc is a dead animal. It doesn't need nutrients. It doesn't
Nutrients.
live. It's just
You
base.
turn me upside down, you
It's
give
just-
me nutrients.
I mean the stuff that you hear. If I wasn't a mild-mannered man, an elderly man, I really get mad at this stuff.
I know.
There's another thing that
But
they
we're going to do
sell.
gimmick. What's your next gimmick? I got a whole bunch of gimmicks here.
It's
Come
a
on.
belt. Me and Linda were watching this on TV.
Hey, the belt.
The ab
And,
belt?
and you plug it in and it expands. And the thing begins to go up your chest and down your butt.
Yeah.
And it stretches.
Yeah.
It stretches your back. And I look like a zombie. I can't walk. I can't breathe. My intestines are in my neck.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And it's $19.99.
$19.99, but if you
really?
order two,
You get
shipping
it
and
for
handling.
half price.
Well, we got another one. Doc, talk to me. We talked about the Cairo chair.
Oh, yeah.
Talk to me. What is it supposed to do except hurt somebody?
They're advertising this now,
Right.
and it's a little plate that you lay on, and it moves like this,
Just moves back and forth.
back and forth.
Right.
But it doesn't do anything because what's really actually moving is the fat on your back. That's what's moving.
Right.
It can't get to the bone structure, which is 3-4 inches above that. There's no way that can happen. And then a chiropractor gets over there. He says, "Oh, I do passive massage." He does not. I mean, the whole thing is really. If you know what causes pain, you see how funny this stuff is. It just doesn't work.
What's true about this? We're talking. A lot of people are listening to us. This was actually on TV by doctors that said almost the same. That said the same thing you said.
This is where I see it.
He said, "Look, guys, acupuncture. Well, let's go to acupuncture. How does acupuncture work? When all the big doctors are saying doesn't work.
It doesn't work. No, there's no way it can work.
That's what I'm trying to
It's
understand.
not scientific. I know. I took the
I
course.
know.
I'm almost an expert in acupuncture. I've done it.
What does it do, if anything?
Nothing. It doesn't do anything. It pinches you.
And what about this thing where this?
What I tell people usually, Les, is I say, you want acupuncture, just pinch yourself. You got it.
How about that foot thing? You ever see this guy that does the foot thing, where they're able to put needles in your feet to get rid of your pain?
Oh, yeah. There's another one now. I just heard it this morning. You put this brace on your knee, and there's a pin placed behind your knee that takes away backache.
Really?
Oh, I mean,
I just saw the copper knee brace that they
What
put
can
on
I
the
say?
car. You put a knee brace.
This is acupressure,
Oh my God!
Japanese acupressure, And
it's not bad enough they own the banks. Now they got to do this.
Now, you know why they have all these things
No.
to treat bracing? Bracing should never be done, by the way. You had bracing, should never be done. Mobilization is the key to success, not immobilization. So any kind of bracing immobilizes you. Now they're hitting the airwaves with the braces to peel all this money out of Medicare. You know, if you're on Medicare, you buy this knee brace, buy this back brace, I mean.
Tommy Copper.
Oh, Tommy Copper. Oh.
I got another one. There's a machine.
How does copper get out of the thing and into
I don't know.
It feeds the mineral when you're upside down.
They can't get through. Did they ever do a study that shows that copper actually goes through the skin into the bloodstream?
They had
to do that.
Wait, they had a thing on TV, and you know what they said? The only thing that they've proven about copper is it makes your hand green.
Magnetic fields. It works with magnetic fields. There's another machine they offered me for $3,900, the floor model, sells for $6,000, and you stand on it, and it vibrates. And I mean, for like 15 minutes, you're on this machine, right?
Yeah.
So what happens when you stand on something vibrating for 15 minutes?
You go like this when you walk, and you start
when you
shaking.
walk, how do you feel? How are you going to feel? I mean, it's like being on a ship, and all of a sudden you're vibrating for 15 minutes, and you're walking, and you go, wow, something's happening.
Yeah. Oh, there was another one that's really funny. You stand in front of this guy with your hands to your back, and he pushes you, and you're off balance. Okay, then he puts you on this little thing, the bracelet or something.
Yeah, the magnetic bracelet.
Then he pushes you again, and you're not off balance. Well, of course, you know what's going to happen, so you brace yourself.
That's right.
That's
I seen that one.
I mean,
I
it's really ridiculous.
They had that on a show called BS and they had doctors on, and they said they had a guy, and he, just like Dr. Pinozzo said, they said, yeah, I'm going to push you, and the guy took a magnet, and he see how that works, and you know what the magnet was made out of? Cardboard.
Cardboard.
They just want to show you that people will believe anything. Folks, we got to take a break. When we get back, you can call Dr. Pinozzo on the hotline at 877-927-6969 to ask the doctor questions. He takes all questions. He doesn't say no to anything.
And if you have a gimmick, we want to hear it.
We want to hear the gimmick that you had. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
We'll be back.
Gimmicks, yeah.
Gimmicks, guys.
Have you ever had a business idea that you thought would be a great solution to tough challenges in today's world, but have no idea of how to get started? You don't want to waste investment money on ideas that just don't work. Introducing Health and Wealth Seminars, a sophisticated advertising agency with over 40 years in the ad business. What makes Health and Wealth different from other agencies is that they fit your product into the public's need. They help put together the strategy of your business before you commit thousands of dollars just to find out that those ideas don't work. Health and Wealth Seminars carries advertising contracts, radio and television contracts, and even a production service contract that'll cover all of your business needs. Call today, 954-303-9563, and let Health and Wealth Seminars carry your business to the next level. The number is 954-303-9563. And remember that what happens when you don't advertise is nothing. 954-303-9563 is the number you need to get your business started in the right direction. Pain is the body's way of telling you something is wrong. Surgery can do more harm than good. Pills can become addictive. Dr. Pinozzo uses engineered concepts and weight-bearing physics to resolve this pain and get you greater range of motion. Call today to resolve all those old excuses the medical profession has given you up to now. Call 1-877-927-6969. And now, let's get back to today's show.
We are back. I hope everyone was listening. Now, if you want to call Dr. Pinozzo personally, which he will answer the phone, you could call him on Monday at 561-381-5800. Or if you're in really bad pain, call him after the show and talk to him at 561-381-5800. So now we were talking about all these gimmicks out, and Freddie on the break was talking to me about the triangle that he bought before he met Dr. Pinozzo.
$14.99.
He fell for it.
$14.99. I bought this gimmick, and it's a triangle made of copper, and you hang it from the ceiling, and the powers that be, the magnetic field, which we're going to get into right now, takes all the pains away, Doc. Took everything away.
Aha. Oh, That reminds me of something for me to know, I guess.
Okay.
It reminds me, a couple of years ago, they took cancer away by putting you in a cave in Mexico.
Oh, I never heard of that
And
one.
also apricot pits. If you eat those, then that reduces cancer. Of course, all those people died, and there was nobody to justify it. I mean, it's got to make common sense. In other words, when you sit down, if you're trained scientifically and you think about this stuff, you have to understand the mechanism of how it works. The mechanism. I always ask people the mechanism of disease. How does that work? How does spraining your back work? What does what? Mechanism. Let me read you a couple of things that I wrote in my book. Pain treatment is part of mainstream scientific medicine. There is no alternative approaches to scientific basis.
Right.
No alternative approaches. There is no alternative. People talk about alternative. They don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah,
There
like
is no
alternative medicine,
alternative.
right.
It's one body. You don't have alternatives. Like the garden variety, grow this herb and take that. That's an alternative. It's not.
Well, give you something to do on the weekends.
Pain is inflammatory in nature, requiring anti-inflammatory medications. Narcotics have no place in pain treatment at all. They are not anti-inflammatory.
Right. You said aspirin is the only.
They are mind-altering drugs. They cannot treat the source of pain,
Right.
which is not in the brain.
Right.
It's elsewhere. So you see, under common sense, you should not be prescribing narcotics at all.
No, you don't.
So anybody who does that is using their position to be a pusher. That's the best I can think of it. I have never had to prescribe narcotics. Somebody wanted those, I wouldn't do it.
And you're a medical doctor.
Go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make good medical sense to me.
Right. Because you get
has
addicted to it.
Has to be. I had a lady in there 2 days ago. She walked up to the window and she had this 2 pages of pain. I said, well, what are you here for? What is your main pain? All of it, she says. And she looked fantastic to me. She was very attractive, slim,
Doc
very
likes
nice,
that, huh?
young. That's my thing.
Doc had a hard time with that case.
I had a hard time getting rid of her. Because, because
But did you get rid of her pain?
No, you can't because you don't know where it is. We don't know what she's talking about. She has ulterior motives. In other words, if somebody gets mad at me, no narcotics, no time off work, that kind of stuff. We treat what's there, and if you don't like it, too bad.
You just said something that's very interesting. So if someone comes into like a construction worker or a waitress that's got a lower back pain,
Right.
they can go back to work that next day or right after? Yeah.
They do, and the idea there is to make them whole. In other words, so they can earn a living. My whole job, as in my field that I do, is to make sure people are able to work. If you can't have an income, I mean, it's tough.
Yeah.
And plus, you could go around wasting thousands of dollars and not getting treated right. So we try to do the great job for them, and that's why we have established those things that we do, like you can't leave the office without that pain being substantially down or all of it gone.
Let me just say something. Dr. Pinozzo could treat the pain that you came in with. So if you have the source of the pain and that pain never comes back again.
Does not come back.
So if he does your right side and then your left side, you have to come back to see him. He can only do the source of the pain where it came from.
The main
and
one
treat
you
it.
want treated. Then
Right.
there's the secondaries after
Exactly.
that, which we take care of later.
Exactly.
But it has to go through the history and the clinical exam and the special films and the analysis to get to that spot. The failures that other people have when those people come in to see me is because they don't go through all that and they don't know the techniques of what I'm describing. So this is the top of the line, and it is information for you. I mean, if you've been around and you're not happy, try us. You might be.
We always
You
say,
might be happy. We're covered by most insurance.
yeah, that's
By the
true,
way.
folks.
All the biggies, Blue
Okay.
Cross Blue Shield, all of their plans, Cigna, all of their plans, and what are the other ones? So United Healthcare,
United
all of their
Healthcare,
plans,
right?
including ARP.
ARP, yes.
But we won't take any insurance of companies that want me to tell them what I'm going to do first.
Right.
If that's the case, and say, you know more than I do, no, you don't.
But the big guys
we tell
don't
people-
don't
no,
criticize
the
you. They
big
just
guy-
take it. The big guys.
The big guys don't bother.
They
me.
understand what you
Aetna, even Aetna.
I know. And that is tough.
Aetna bought a company local, and they have the same thing. Well, you got to check with us before you can do anything. Well, you're talking about 2 or 3 weeks to wait.
It's not worth it.
I don't work that way.
No.
When you come in my office, you're seen for what you have. We take care of it that day. Inside of a half hour, you're treated.
That's why when you come into his office, there might not be anybody in there because
That's right.
he'll be sitting and looking at the stock market reports because he cures the pain. I mean, the difference is, one of the things that always bothered me, and it'll stick in my craw forever. People are talking about going in for migraine headaches, and they're going to taking Botox. And Botox, even on the commercial, it says they're not curing the migraine. And they got to
Wrong.
take this every 3 months.
It's wrong structure. It
Yeah.
cannot cure it.
No, they say they can't cure.
They don't know where it is.
And I know people think this is might think this is witchcraft what he does. I've seen 2 people
No,
with
no, it's
severe
not
migraines.
witchcraft. Not
I've
witch-
seen 2 people with severe migraines.
Absolutely not witchcraft.
No, and I want people to understand. I know it's hard to believe that this works. I've seen with my own eyes migraine headaches where someone for 28 years suffered from this, and the only problem is he doesn't come back to see anymore.
Well,
He's cured.
That's right. That's the way it goes.
I mean,
Lady last Wednesday, called me up Friday. We took care of the same thing,
I remember that.
migraine. And her husband called up and said that the right side pain is gone. She wants the other side treated. I said, well, bring her in.
Well, let's go
But
back
that's
to the.
important. That's
Yeah.
important because what you're saying is you treated the pain that she brought in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if there's another pain, you may have to come back because it doesn't mean it failed. It means you
No,
treated
there's
what
no
was there.
failure there. I just
Right.
don't. I'm not a what do you
Magician.
call it?
Magician.
No,
You-
I can't see in the
No.
future. I mean, I don't know what's going to show up.
Yeah, you know what gets me? You see these people that suffer from migraines, and not only does he get rid of that pain you came in with, you're not going to get that pain back again in the migraine. Because I mean, I know I sound like excited about this because I've seen it. You know what it is to have migraines all your life, and you come in
it's
to see
terrible.
Dr. Pinozzo, and he gets rid of you.
What they're scribing is true. I
Yeah.
mean, they can't stand up. They'd rather
No.
lay down. They, all of that is
All
true.
dark room.
But it's all ligament. It's not a serious problem. It's not something in the brain. It's not something in the electrolytes. It's none of that.
Right.
And we know that because we analyze it properly and we treat it. So we know
Sounds
what
amazing.
works.
It's amazing.
Sprain strain is not a working diagnosis. Sciatica as a diagnosis should not be used. Sciatica is a description of a leg pain. That's all. People get so excited. I have sciatica. Like, all you have is a leg pain. We'll figure it out where it's from. The sciatic nerve has 5 sources, which makes one nerve that goes down your leg.
Right.
Okay, so I don't know who decided that any leg pain is sciatica. It is not. It's just not. Very little of it is actually nerve. A lot of it is annular. It's a ligament referral pattern, and you have to know the referral patterns. By the way, I spent a lot of time developing this.
I know.
Let me tell you, it wasn't easy.
No.
But each level of pain source causes a referral into the buttock, leg, calf.
Oh yeah, it's always people complain about that
yeah.
the left side of their buttock.
So you have to know what
I
does
had
that. Pain is primarily ligamentous in origin. You got to remember that. It's
Say
not
it again.
muscle.
Say it again.
Ligament. It's a ligament. Pain is a ligament. It's an injury to a ligament. Length of time one has a pain is not a criteria for severity. In other words, you could have it forever and still work. I mean, it doesn't
Just
mean
work
that-
through the pain.
Chronic pain is acute pain episodes over time. In other words, it gets worse, then better, and worse, and better. So when you talk about chronic, you're talking about time, not severity. MRI cannot diagnose the source of pain with certainty.
So an MRI, you can't pick up sciatica.
Absolutely not. MRI is an anatomic study. Pain is physiologic. In other words, it's a different idea. So who's reading it anyway? A radiologist. So people get really upset when they're told they have a bulging disc. It doesn't mean a thing.
Is it?
No, doesn't mean anything. It probably means one bone is slid into the other, making the ligament bulge. I mean, that would be okay, and that's treatable. But they put these terms on things, and
Can you have a fracture of your spine, of the vertebra?
sure,
And is that treatable?
yes.
Wow.
So do you need surgery?
Well, what they you don't have surgery now. What they have is they have a machine that puts a glue in there, expands the bone. Usually, it's a fracture of the front of the vertebra, inside. It's way inside. It's not. You can't feel it. It's way inside. And if you have a flexion injury, a fall, you could fracture that, and they will stretch you out and put this glue in there. My son does this in Phoenix.
Really?
Yeah. And it's very successful. Trouble is, the pain is not from that.
What's the pain from?
Pain is from the ligament and the joint, not from the fracture.
So you could fix the vertebra and still have the pain.
Absolutely, and that's what happens.
And what about scar
And
tissue?
guess what? Those people get they're sent to the therapist again.
Yes,
Who
that's what
can't
happens.
treat that? They can't even reach it. I mean, the whole thing is
Amazing.
so bizarre. You just can't believe
They
it.
make it stretch
Uh,
so that it takes away the pain.
no, it makes it worse.
Now, is there scar tissue after you do that procedure?
There is, but it's not from a cut. It's from injury. So I refer to scar tissue also. It means it's
Hello?
inflammation and repair, but not from a cut that a scalpel would do.
Hello?
It's not a surgical.
Right.
Sorry. So, I guess what everyone has to know is the best thing that I could say is find out what the source of pain is. Go to Dr. Mendoza because he's going to treat the source of pain.
You are so smart.
I'm listening to this and I'm saying to myself, how could anyone not go for surgery? What we always say, make your second opinion your first.
No,
Call
that's-
Dr. Pinoza.
that's a good-
Again, let me give out the hotline because we get into this 877-927-6969. And we will take any call. If anyone has a gimmick that's not working, anyone has a problem, you can call Dr. Pinoza or call him tomorrow morning at 561-381-5800. He'll be more than happy to see you.
Yep.
So what else Doctor, you want to talk about today?
Let's see. Nerves. People talk about neuropathic pain.
Okay.
And that's the reason for giving narcotics. See, the idea is nerves are firing off on their own without a control. Baloney, that does not happen. Nerves do not fire off on their own, causing chronic pain. There is no neuropathic pain. That's right out of my book, by the way.
Really?
That makes sense. What would a nerve is not designed to do that. A nerve doesn't do that. All it does is transmit electrical impulses. Otherwise, it's dormant. Mm-hmm. So there's no reason why it should hurt.
Oh, wait, we got to call.
The thing
Steve,
about it.
hold on, Doc. We got to call Steve. Wants to
Well,
ask
let
you a
me-
question. Hold on. We'll get back. Hey, Steve, how you doing?
Good. How are you, sir?
Okay, I'm going to give you Dr. Pinozzo. Dr. Pinozzo, Steve, tell me what's wrong.
Dr. Pinozzo, this is Steve Lamastro. I came to you one time. I have severe arthritis in my left shoulder. Dr. Shalal in Boynton Beach just did surgery on my shoulder.
Oh,
And
no.
It's been about five weeks now, and the pain's still there.
Yeah.
Is there anything I can do? Is there
Well, how many
anything
times did we treat you?
One time. I came.
Why did you do that? Why did you come back?
Because I didn't have the insurance. Now I have.
Oh, now you.
Oh.
So you'd rather have pain. Okay,
You
Steve.
know, I had
I just was wondering what's going to go on with my shoulder because I do this power yoga stuff and it's hard on the shoulders, and I haven't been doing it in over a year now because of the arthritis in the shoulder. Now, is there anything that's going to take this pain away? I mean, it's not a really really hard bad pain, but it's like chronic pain.
Well, somebody sent you somewhere for treatment, right?
Yeah, they sent me somewhere for treatment.
Where'd they send you?
Surgery.
Where'd they
on my
send you?
shoulder.
Where'd they send you?
It's orthopedics.
Okay, what about after the surgery?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing. He said,
Maxine, hold on. We'll be with you soon.
What kind of insurance do you have?
I have Aetna, but you're not on it, and
Oh, it's because it's an HMO. You made a big
no,
mistake.
It's not an HMO. It's a
Yes,
BPO, but you're not on their list or something.
No,
I
it's
already
not a-
checked to go back. Listen, how much is it going to cost me to come back there? Can I ask, or on the radio?
No, we
Yeah,
don't.
we'll talk to
We'll
you
talk. Why
afterwards.
don't you call Dr. Pinozzo at his office and set something up, Steve?
I mean, because I'm really dying with this shoulder.
Then
this
call him
is
up.
Really.
Well, call me tomorrow. We can get you in this.
561-381-5800. I'm sorry, we got
I have
another
the
call
number
coming
on
in.
my phone already, but
Steve,
I just wondered-
Call the
him and make an
doctor. I have
appointment. We're
someone.
going to bring the cameras in to see
Okay.
how he can help you.
All right, thank you.
All
All right, sure.
Oh,
Thank
she,
you.
She hung up. I'm sorry. Maxine, call back again. I'm sorry. Okay, Doc.
All right. This was a good case. I
Okay.
illustrated everything we talked about. Okay. I don't know what to tell people. You know, they could make payments. I don't require money up front. I'm
No.
not going to work for free. I don't.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think that's respectful.
No, it's not because.
But
it's
you don't
stuff-
have to come up with it. You can, you know, go back to work. That's my main job, is to put you back to work.
But Doc,
So you can pay me.
he had the surgery, and he's still hurting,
Yeah, he's still hurting. Yeah.
which is typical. This is what you've been saying.
But see, if he if he had a compound problem, we took care of the worst problem the first day.
Right.
We would have taken care of the second problem the second day, and the third day, it's questionable whether he needs anything. He would have gone back to work.
And he would have been out of pain,
Yeah.
Yeah.
less out of pocket, because everything costs him more in those surgeries.
Yeah,
Oh, of course.
see, people let their insurance companies run them. Are they out of their minds? Think about it, people.
Maxine's back on.
Oh, okay, hold on. Maxine's back on. Here we go. Thank you so much. Hi, Maxine.
Hi, how are you today?
Hi. Okay, I have Dr. Pinozzo. Talk to the doctor.
Hello, hello.
Awesome. Hi, I'm just calling because my father has an inflammatory muscle disease, and I wanted to refer him to your office, and I wanted to know if you deal with that. I think some of it is arthritic as well in the joints and everything, but it's like a mild pain he has like every day.
What kind of pain?
It's like from arthritis as well, but it's.
I mean, where is
from
it? Where is it?
It's mostly in his knees and
Oh,
his
okay.
legs.
Yeah, okay, that's treatable.
Okay, so I'll definitely have him call you tomorrow to set up an appointment because he's
Oh,
been
sure.
battling it for years.
Yeah, we have a great knee program. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just absolutely first class.
Maxine, before they let you go, did he try any type of gimmicks in the past?
Any gimmicks? Tao shows on the gimmicks. No.
No, they just made him go to like therapy and everything like that.
Therapy.
And just therapy, but it hasn't really done too much for him.
Well, Maxie, I'll tell you a story, and then I'm going to let you go. I had a friend who, before he even knew Dr. Pinozzo, had knee surgery on one of his knees. I told him about Dr. Pinozzo because he needed it on the other knee. He came in. Dr. Pinozzo took care of him. I think it was 2 shots. He didn't have to go into surgery for the other knee.
Wow, that's awesome.
And that's, I mean, it's amazing. Yes, it is amazing.
Give her the
Let
office
me give you the office number, 561 Maxine, 381
Uh-huh.
5800. And Dr. Pinozzo will answer the call. He'll know just who we are. Again, thank you, Maxine.
Thank you so much.
I hope you give us a call.
We will. Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
Alrighty.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's amazing, Doc, how all these people are.
The click of the knee is capsular and not meniscal in origin. In other words, it's
Oh,
like
mambo.
snapping your wrists or your fingers.
Wow.
So they'll say that it must be meniscal. Your cartilage has to come out.
The meniscus.
That is not true. The meniscus is attached to the ligaments around the knee. That's where the true pain is. A cool knee pain is capsular in origin. In other words, you have a pain in your knee, but if you touch it, it's cool to touch, no swelling. The inside of that knee is normal. So the pain has to be on the outside then. So, you know, it's just common sense. That's so if you have a cool knee, do not get it operated.
So if you have a hot knee, get it operated?
Hot knee has to be treated. So you have to
Infection?
find out why it's hot.
Okay.
It could be bacterial. It could just be an injury. I mean,
And you could
Yeah.
diagnose that. That's
yeah, you
that's
can
the key.
diagnose that. A meniscal pain is primarily knee capsule in origin, should not be removed. So anybody who does that, it's crazy. Electrical stimulation cannot reduce pain. Water therapy cannot treat a painful condition. In other words, electrical stimulation. I mean, that's begging the issue, which is where is the pain from?
That's
you
the
know,
thing.
you need a diagnosis. These things, like stimulators you got, you know, put the
I have
stimulator on you.
I have it.
You had that.
I had that gimmick.
Freddie fell for everything, huh?
No, actually, it's not mine. It belongs to somebody else I know. Because she was in a car accident, they gave it to her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a
For her
shame
neck.
because people are giving you those things, don't understand where the pain is from. You know, they're lowering your care. I mean, I get people, you know, once a week come to my office and want me to refer to them for treatment, therapy. And I said, well, what can you do for these diagnoses? Well, they don't have a program for that.
No.
I said, what do you do with the patients that you fail on? Which you're going to fail.
Oh, of course.
If you don't know where the pain is, you're going to fail.
No answer.
No answer, because they keep treating you. I mean, people got to watch yourself. You know, be very, very
Be
careful.
smart. It's your body.
Every dollar that's spent, it comes out of all of our pockets, all of us.
But not, it's your own body. Why should you be in pain?
Yeah, why should you be in pain? I mean, don't let your insurance company tell you what to do.
I think
If your
that's-
insurance company doesn't let you go where you want to go, there's something wrong with the insurance company, not you.
Well, to me, I don't know. Maybe there's something wrong with me. But if I had to live with pain because insurance wouldn't cover it, and you're willing to help out, not say, look, you don't have to
But
give
you
it to me.
see, they will cover it if you call them and say, nobody in your panel
Does what?
can do this kind of work. I want to go to this guy.
Right.
And then they'll say, okay, well, we'll pay him at a reduced rate then. But you can get it.
Okay.
They want customers, and if they don't help you like that, switch insurance.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to them. They're after your dollar, so you gotta know that they want you as a customer and not use the facilities. In other words, every dollar you pay them stays there.
Oh, yeah.
So this is why they have a restricted panel. So in other words, you can't get treatment in their panel, usually on HMO, unless you go to therapy first. Well, the therapy is a waste of time and money.
Oh, gosh.
You end up getting operated, so it costs the HMO more than if they let those people go outside the panel to get treated elsewhere. So the whole thing is really bizarre to me because I think I'm a good businessman, wouldn't you say?
I think you're a very good businessman.
I mean, it's just common sense stuff, and I don't understand that thinking.
And the thing is that you really, really care about helping people. I know that.
I do. Yeah.
I mean, I've seen people coming out crying how good they feel. They've been in pain for so long. I've seen people with scoliosis.
Oh, did you see the dance thing?
Yeah, well, Freddie,
High five.
our producer, did this in the middle of the street. I said, you get hit by a car, you'll be with Pinoza for the rest of your life, fixing every part of you that's in pain.
But you don't know what it feels like 5 years later not to feel the pain.
I know, it's amazing.
Listen,
I mean, it was scary.
Freddie, I know. I've had everything. I've had backache, headache, neck pain, shoulders. I've had everything. And I figure out how to treat those things. And that's why it's unique to my office.
Mm-hmm.
And the approaches we use, I figured out on myself. I know what works, what doesn't work. And so that's what we do.
And I know your son flew down from Arizona to help you.
And we talk every night.
Yeah, I know.
And he does almost what I do, and so it works. So we know it works because we jibber jabber among ourselves every night. And we're like when we figured out what causes migraine and the treatment for it. Well, I had the theoretical model, and he had the physical model. So
give your son's number up in Arizona because this show goes all over the country.
Yeah, he's in Peoria.
Okay.
And so he did the actual research work on the technique, and I had the example of where it should be, and he worked it out and told me. I said, okay, so we both do the same thing now.
It's amazing.
That's
absolutely
why,
amazing.
That's why migraine is not a big deal. People make it a big deal, but it isn't. If you know where it's from, you can treat it.
Could you imagine suffering for all those years?
I can't imagine. I think I would. I don't know.
I mean,
what I do.
I mean, a headache is bad enough, but a migraine headache is. I mean, I don't know how people could suffer like that.
Well,
migraine. The strange thing, Doc. If you go see a doctor and he takes a used needle and he's going to give you a shot, you'll probably say, "What are you doing?" Right? So people don't question doctors. They do anything. They take out a knee. They take out a hip. Because they're a doctor, they think, okay, you know what you're doing.
Well, this is exactly why this program is here. This is information. I'm giving you background. I'm telling you what you should and shouldn't do, how I would look at it myself with my training. You can't beat the training I've had. I mean, I tell you, it's very, very, very good.
Journal of American Medical Association wrote that almost 60% of knee surgeries are uncalled for.
Yep.
And they know more than I do.
I don't think any of them are necessary.
Yeah. And they could go online and see everything we say is you go online.
Yeah, remember, we're not selling anything.
No.
We're selling concepts, information that you should think about. and make an opinion on that. And call up if you have a question. Call up.
You can always call up Dr. Pinozo at 561-381-5800. Now, guarantee he's the only doctor that I ever met, Freddie, that answers his own call.
He answers it on the air.
He answers on the air
as
when
much
we're
as I tell him
talking.
not to.
And I think what's amazing is that this stuff works.
Well, that's the part that gets everybody confused.
Yeah, that it works.
Because it actually works. You had 2 people call today. They've tried other things.
Yeah.
I've tried tons of stuff.
Sure, before you saw him. Yeah.
Before I saw him. And it's funny because now I look back. I remember after I saw him, I talked to my family. And I said, you're not going to believe this, but I got no pain in my leg. And everybody says maybe it's psychosomatic. So I started dancing and I said, no, I got no pain in my leg.
I remember the way you used to
pain
walk.
in my leg.
And that was quite a while ago. You never get that pain again. That's the beauty of it. What people don't realize is this is not a Band-Aid. This is a cure.
Oh yeah, that's a cure.
This is a cure.
There's
This
no
is
drugs.
Yeah, and no drugs.
And
you'll never have that pain again. Could you imagine? I just keep going back. I was almost in tears when I saw this kid. His mother was crying that in one shot he cured a migraine headache, and he hasn't gotten it back yet. Of course, it's not good for business, doc. You got to give a couple more shots. I mean, you see a patient, they're gone.
Listen,
you never see them again.
Don't come back. That's
No, he doesn't want to see you.
The room is empty. We fix them, they don't come back.
You'd rather be sitting on the stock market reports.
This is what you should think about when you go to the doctor's office, an orthopedic surgeon's office or something, and you see the whole place loaded with people. I would not go there.
And all of them have a boot on.
Every podiatrist makes money on the boot, I guess. I don't know why they do that. My idea is mobilization. Their idea is restriction.
Restriction.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Well, we had somebody here.
And I am the expert. In a court of law, guess who the expert is?
You.
Me.
Well,
They're afraid that the person's going to make the injury worse.
Yeah, well.
So they immobilize the area.
Well, I told you heard Leah when she was on here. She was going to have to wear the boot. She came into him, one shot. She's fine, and it wasn't and the pain wasn't coming from the ankle, which goes back to source.
It goes back to what's causing the problem.
Yeah.
You can't do that. I wasn't always this good.
Well, how many years been doing
we
this?
had to work at this to get better and better at this.
Was it 46 years, 47 years?
Because there's no books. You can't go anywhere. Nobody knows anything. So I had to figure it out. And
trial and error.
Step by step. For instance, one week we took the shoulder, went to the anatomy. What's there? What can possibly go bad? The shoulder is rather simple. And it's easily treated. You never have to have it operated, ever. You can't tear anything unless you fall off the Empire State Building. And maybe you need a higher building than that. You can't hurt yourself.
It's amazing.
These tears and everything are coming from an MRI, and they have no justification. It's a pain. Treat the pain, source, and it's gone.
Because they don't see what you see with your machine.
It's by examination and by the machine. That's right.
You know, Doc, I had a conversation this week with another show, and I asked the doctor on there. He tells me that people's heads are tilted to the left or the right. They're not equal. They're not straight.
No, that's not true. They're straight.
Well, I asked him
if they're curved to the left or the right. You can fix that, and it's below that.
Exactly.
Causes that.
So I asked him, I said, well, perhaps, now not being a doctor, because I'm not a doctor, I said, perhaps it's inflammation that's moving his head to the left or to the right. Maybe it's an imbalance.
Don't diagnose. I need you here, not at the
No.
prison.
This is what I asked the doctor. Do you know what he said to me? Inflammation. What are you, insane?
Inflammation?
Yeah, he says, you're insane. That has nothing to do with the way the body tilts left or right. This is a doctor.
I don't know who you're talking to.
Well, I can't tell you because it's somebody we do, but
forget about him.
But I ran away. But it scares me because they go out and they tell people what they believe. Now, I'm not saying they're wrong. They are
it's
wrong.
Their
belief. Yeah, but
they are wrong.
They are wrong.
They're entitled to their opinion.
Here, if you don't treat something, you shouldn't discuss it.
True.
Very true.
But he supposedly treats this.
You notice I don't discuss. He does treat it.
Yes.
Oh my God.
This is my point. So what they're doing is they're tilting the body into position because it's out of position.
No, you have to know why it's out of position in the first place. You have to fix that. It goes back to normal if you fix this cause. But you notice I never talk about diabetes. I don't know anything about it. That's not true. I know a lot about it, but we don't treat it.
We
don't treat heart disease. We don't treat anything like that. Everything we talk about, we actually treat. No theoretical basis. We actually treat it.
Before we go off the air, I got a question that someone tweeted, and this is right up your alley. Rick and Boca, I've been hearing your show for the past couple of weeks, and guess what he does for a living? He's a golf pro. Are your treatments effective for autoimmune disease?
Well, we'd have to discuss how we got that diagnosis for autoimmune disease, but autoimmune disease usually doesn't cause a pain. Pains are from regular sources. So we could treat the pain.
And he's also saying, I think after listening to you, Doc, increasing mobility of my patients would be a tremendous advantage over my competitors in this business.
Yes.
But this is a guy who's thinking.
Yeah, this is a golf pro.
Yeah, this is what we've been talking about.
And he's right here in Boca. Hey, Rick, do me a favor. Call Dr. Pinozo tomorrow at 561-381-5800. He'll be more than happy to discuss this with you. He's been talking about this for weeks, months, and years.
Absolutely, sure.
That's an interesting
I mean, I just saw this when we were talking. This is a golf pro that's listening and say, wow. It can help him over his
advantage over his competitors.
That's
he could be the only one taking advantage of this.
Could you imagine that? He could treat Dr. Pinozo would do the physiology of the golf swing, and he would do the art of the golf, is what he's trained to do.
You bet.
What that could do? My gosh! You want to take one more call, one more before we go, Doc? Mary from Boca. I was in a car accident and had terrible whiplash. I have a stiff neck and headaches that you cannot believe. They have tried to help me for weeks, but to avail. Can you help me, and will I return to normal?
Yes, you'll be normal.
Okay. I mean,
whiplash, and I never thought about that. Accidents. People that have accidents.
Well, you have to be careful because of the way the law is written. You have a $10,000 PIP, what they call PIP.
Right.
PIP, I forget what it stands for. Personal injury. Okay. Anyway, it's $10,000. The attorneys refer almost everybody to the chiropractor.
Everybody.
Everybody. I know. Until they use up the $10,000, and then the people are out of luck because there's no more cash available.
Amazing.
So now they have to seek medical care elsewhere.
Out of their own pocket.
Out of their own pocket, or out of their insurance pocket, or out of, then they make a lawsuit. So, but the whole thing's a racket. I mean, you can't do that. I mean, they have nothing to offer you. If you look at the programs that the $10,000 uses up, it's electrical stimulation, it's massage, it's cupping, it's this. Nothing is based on what the diagnosis is. Nothing is based on what the diagnosis actually is. It's just using up cash.
Burning it up.
Burning it up.
Well, it's like when you go to an orthopedic surgeon, he sends you to rehab. He says, he looks at you and says, oh, you got 12 visits for the year. So use up those 12 visits, and then you're done.
It's like that, but the legislators ought to change that law. They try to change
But, Doc, I think you just hit on the biggest thing. If you've been in a car accident and you got a $10,000 PIP coming your way, I'd rather have them visit you, take 2 or 3 shots, get the pain out. They're probably going to leave with some money for something else.
Trouble is, we're curing the pain for under $1,000.
Right.
But that's my point.
We're not using up $10,000.
That's my point.
That's the whole point. But the lawyers don't like that.
Oh.
They want the lawsuit. They want you to use that up, and then you can go to a lawsuit after.
So they want you in pain after the $10,000.
That's right.
Sure.
So it's a $10,000 stay in pain that we go to the lawsuit.
And anybody who says I'm giving false information, you call me and tell me why, because that's my experience, and you can't touch it. It's true.
561-381-5800. And Dr. Pinozo challenges you, okay? He challenged you, and we're saying right now, if you've gone to that doctor, what's that guy? Oh, the chiropractor guy, and you're not being cured, he guarantees you he will cure the source of pain that you came in with.
If you listen to what the lawyer tells you, you're going to lose. You have to go with your gut instinct. If you're not doing well, you got to get out of there.
Right.
No matter what that lawyer tells you. He's making money on you. Remember that.
Be in control of your body, folks.
Not only that, but if you want to do what the lawyer tells you, tell you what, take a side visit to Dr. Pinozo, let him look at you for under $1,000, they hook you up, then you go back and you talk to your attorney and says, you're full of baloney.
Yeah,
that's right. True. Settle the case.
That's right.
That's the way to do it. Very good, Freddie.
Well, guys and gals, hope you're having a great weekend out there, because another show, and all you people that have been texting and tweeting us, I promise you next week I'll get to your calls. This is Les and Dr. Pinozzo and Freddie and Mr. D. Have a great weekend, everyone. Enjoy your Sundays. We'll see you next week.
This has been the Dr. Pinozzo Sports and Medicine Hour with Dr. Anthony Pinozzo. If you spend 5 minutes with Dr. Pinozzo, you'll see he genuinely enjoys helping others. Visit Dr. Pinozzo online at www.paincentersnationwide.com or call him at 561-381-5800. Dr. Pinozzo will consult with you to determine the best solution to your pain needs. 561-381-5800 is the number to call, even if it's just for a second opinion. Join Dr. Pinozzo next week when he brings you more important information on the physics of weight-bearing and engineered concepts for the body.